a functional fitness, not a dad bod, but a father figure.
Honoring your body with where you're at in this season.
Yeah, and we think that our faith comes first, our family then, and then fellowship and fitness. And we feel like God has created us to move. What's up, guys? It's Kate and Andrew here from the Daily Well Collective. And a big portion of what being well entails is moving your body on a consistent basis, but making that sustainable and something that you can do on a regular basis. And so one of the things we want to take you through is just our workouts progression each week. And you can follow along with somebody who's in their third try, who's pregnant, and somebody who is not, and is trying to just be healthy. We both were athletes in our own right. She was a Division I athlete. I was a club athlete in college. Both have a passion for wellness and for physical fitness, and we feel like God has created us to move a certain way and to use our bodies in a certain way.
There are 4 main categories that we try to hit when we are working out in terms of creating that perfect split.
Yep.
So obviously you have your cardio. For me, that's mostly walking or chasing my daughter, but mostly walking.
Yeah.
The second is strength, right? You want to build muscle tone against resistance, so lifting weights, those types of things. Third is flexibility. You never want your level of strength to far supersede your level of flexibility, and vice versa.
Well, strength, and we can dive in more detail, but strength, true strength comes from having the ability to have full range of motion in those motor units. So you can't really have full strength without full flexibility.
That's a very good point.
Yeah.
And the fourth is balance. And I think that one is often forgotten about in terms of its importance until you get older and you are worrying about your elderly grandmother falling or breaking a hip. And so I think adding in elements of balance is really important into your workouts. So you'll see elements of those 4 components blended together throughout our workouts.
The less points of contact with an object or with the ground means the more unstable it is, which means the more challenging it is. So you can take an everyday move like a squat or a deadlift or a press or even a plank and make it more challenging by removing points of contact with the ground. It requires more balance, and balance requires more muscles, secondary and tertiary muscle groups to help stabilize things, which is really great because it requires your body to move as one unit and not just like independent parts, because we think that your body is one giant thing that has to work together, whether it's fighting off an illness or taking a step or picking up a child to work together to do functional things. And so we think functional fitness is probably more a good title for everything we're talking about. Not that it's sustainable, but it's for where you're at with what you need, right? Again, take every mistake with a grain of salt. This can all be changed just to hit you where you're at.
And I ebb and flow a lot, so I get really motivated to run and maybe do a lot of Pilates for a season, and then I get kind of bored and I'll transition to maybe walks and strength. And walks and strength is not my absolute favorite, especially right now because I am forced into that season. But I'm going to take you through where we're at today, and maybe down the road we'll film another one as we kind of evolve as we get back into summertime even.
Yeah.
So typically, because of my heavier work days are on Mondays and Thursdays, I reserve those days just for walks and maybe some stretching and some like very specific pregnancy exercises, but like very low key, nothing too stressful. I'm already stressed from work and childcare that day. So you know what? Those are my days that I just kind of unwind.
And don't take for granted how much childcare and chasing the child around can actually add to your fitness. It's a big deal.
I've never worked out less, but exercised more, the whole time.
Yeah.
So right now, Mondays and Thursdays look like just walking for me. Then on Tuesdays, I've been doing more lower body movements. So while pregnant, that looks a lot like lighter weighted squats, deadlifts, lunges, lots of variations on those very core basic movements. On Wednesdays, I have been doing upper body, which is a lot of just more weights for me. Normally, I would try to do pull-ups and burpee push-ups and things like that. And right now, it's more chest press and flies or modified push-ups because I can't do too much core engagement at this point in my pregnancy. I've been doing a lot of Arnold's presses, just a lot of, weights in that 10-pound range arm movements. Then on Fridays, I've been kind of doing more of a full body metabolic style workout where I do a little bit of strength, a little bit of HIIT. And so that might look like more, we'll use air quotes, jump lunges, or adding in some jumping jacks, or adding in some modified mountain climbers, those types of movements. Saturday, I normally do more of a hit, so I try as much as I can to get my heart rate up a little bit higher. And again, you might be able to just use extra strength and less rest time. Or if you can be jumping, which is my favorite, I would love to do box jumps and those kind of things. But again, right now it's more like jumping jacks, some really light sprinting in the gym, like very low key, pregnant version of running. And then finally, I added 1 day of Pilates, usually a week. And that is pretty modified at this point because Pilates is really high for. Yeah. And so I've been doing a lot more like banded glute work or lighter arm weight, especially for triceps. It's just a lot more light body weight style recovery movement that I love to normally pair with running, but I obviously am not running right now. Kudos to you. If you're this pregnant and you're running, like that is fantastic for you. My pelvic floor cannot handle that right now.
That's a great example of keeping it very diverse and changing it up a little bit. My wife's being very intentional with what she's doing. She's making sure she's not overly training and fatiguing certain things, but she's also being mindful of what her body needs and the different things that she does. And we did a video earlier on just some of the things that she does, even post-workout, that are modified to her specific needs as a third-try pregnant woman.
And I think that's important. Like, I love what you just said, honoring your body with where you're at in this season.
Yeah. The worst thing you can do is have unrealistic training expectations.
You also have been through a lot of different seasons of working out too. I mean, just since 2019, you've done the triathlon, higher cardio, swapped to the 1,000-pound club. Then you became a dad, kind of lost it all. Getting back into
I lost it all, but yes. So that's a very good point. One thing that I like to kind of preface everything I do is I have a fitness goal. Where am I at right now, and what do I want to be doing? If I'm pushing more for strength training, like when during COVID, I got back to my roots and some more powerlifting. And I want to hit my bench, my max bench, deadlift, and squat. I want it to be combined over 1,000 pounds. That's the 1,000-pound club, and you're supposed to hit that on the same day within an hour. I did it. I was really excited about that. But right now, I'm a dad of a 2-year-old. I'm about to be a dad of 2, under the age of 3. And so I know that my fitness looks a little different. I can't spend the quality of time that I want to be spending in the gym if I needed to be hitting that and doing those higher reps. Now, I could still do some strength focus, but for me, my body's in a place where I really want to just stay functionally fit. I like to do a lot of bodyweight movements. I don't really go as heavy. But for me, my goals right now are to hit 10,000 steps a day.
And that precedes everything for you.
Yeah, so for me, I really want to be mindful. My knees and ankles have had a lot of impact. I've learned now, as I'm getting, I'm 33, things start to feel differently. When I go for a 3 to 5 mile run, I don't feel like a spring chicken anymore. I usually do a 30-minute to 45-minute cardio on the elliptical almost every day. That's kind of my baseline. That gets me about 3 to 4 miles of cardio, and I get about 6,000 to 7,000 steps, which is nice and a good base to go from there. Another one of my goals is I have a strength goal. I want to be able to bench my body weight. That's just something I've always picked. I also want to be able to do at least 5 to 10 pull-ups without stopping. So that's my goal right now. So we have a functional goal, and then my splits are: I get up early Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and I do 3 strength training days. And I like to kind of base those strength training days around specific movements. Mondays, specifically a squat day, so that's a lower body hinge. I break the body down into functional movements. You have a pull, a push, a hinge, and a press. And those are kind of just different ways that your body can functionally move, and I do that. So on Monday, on my back squat day, that movement looks a lot like either holding a kettlebell in a goblet hold, or a front squat with a bar across front of my shoulders. And I'll base my entire workout around that. Usually I keep my lifts about 30 minutes or so after I do a 30-minute elliptical. I'll do a shorter elliptical, and I'll do usually 3 to 4 sets with a strength focus on that squat. And then I'll do some core, typically a plank or anti-rotation. Maybe I'll do a T plank, or even a side rotation, or even just some bear crawls with some kick throughs. And then I'll do some auxiliary lifts with maybe a lower body focus, but on the opposite. So I might do like a single leg deadlift. Wednesdays I hit upper body, so chest. Typically I'll focus on a bench. That will include, again, 3 to 4 sets where I'm doing a higher rep because we don't have as much weight as I want. I'll do some reps between 10 to 15 and work my way up there. And then I'll do a lot of posterior chain work as well in combination with that. That looks a lot like doing some inverted rows. We have some rings. You can use like a TRX as well. It gives me an opportunity to do like 15 reps. I can really focus on my technique, on getting full range of motion. Again, I do core everything, so I'll do a lot of planking, a lot of that kind of stuff. And then on Fridays, again, I focus more on a lower body pull, so a deadlift. But what I do is I'll do a lot of single leg stuff with that and focus really on my technique. Again, when we take a point of contact off the ground and do like a single arm, single leg RDL, Romanian deadlift, or even just a regular deadlift, it really trains the glutes and the hips to tighten up and to hold that and to balance that functionally. And again, I'll do maybe more of an explosive squat with that, so that way maybe even a single leg pistol squat with help with a TRX, or I might do something like a box jump or a single leg squat from the box to kind of add and complement the additional muscle groups from that. So that's kind of my split for the week. Saturday, again, I'll do a cardio, and then usually whatever my wife wants to do. If it's a longer walk, if it's a hike, we try to do stuff with the family on Saturday. So a lot of times we'll just get out and just kind of walk around. Yeah, like I said, if you're training for a specific thing, an ultra marathon or a triathlon or a powerlifting competition, you need to be a little more disciplined. If you're going to be a little less disciplined and want to be more like just a functional movement, and being a dad is more important, or being, present with your wife is more important. Your fitness is important, but your fitness should never come in the way of your relationships, of your responsibility as a father, as a mother. And we think that our faith comes first, our family, and then fellowship and fitness and food are kind of there too. They're not the most important thing, but they're really important. So I hope that encourages you guys, and we hope you guys enjoyed that. If you have any questions, again, reach out to us on social media. We've got our handle on Instagram is at The Daily Well Collective. We've got a podcast. We're just kind of entering this foray and this form of YouTube. We appreciate you guys and hope this content is good for you. Take care.